Practice Woolen Sew Method Luminosa Block. The first time I made this block, I imagined a beautiful star radiating light, so I named it Luminosa, which means bright, shining in Spanish, my mother language. Check out the seam section as you will be using the Y-seam technique on each block. Templates. Download and print the template. Download the PDF with the templates to your preferred device and then send it to your printer. You will find the link down below in the description. Check the templates section to find all the info. In this case, you have 2 pages to print. Make sure you have them loaded into the printer. If you're going to use them directly for cutting and pressing, print them on cardstock. If you're going to make them in template plastic, print them on paper and then prepare them with plastic. Understand the info. Now that you have all the sheets printed, let's look at each one so you have a clear idea of all the information they contain. On the first one, you have a scheme that shows you the block and what units make it up. In this way, you can identify the units and keep them in order, knowing exactly their place in the block. Down below, you have the templates to cut Unit A, the base of the units, and the template W1 and W2 for the folded pieces. To avoid confusion, the base template of each unit have indication to correctly place the folded pieces. On the second sheet, you will find the templates for Unit B, the base of the unit and the template W1 and W2 for the folded pieces, and the window templates to cut without seam allowance. You will use the numbers of the window of each template when you make the project. Making the templates. You already understand all the information on the sheets, so let's prepare the templates. Check the template section to learn how to make it. Pieces. Preparing the muslin. Check the cutting techniques section to learn how to prepare the fabric before cutting. Prepare the muslin so that it is straight and without the selvage. Press well, maybe add a little starch to make it easier to stack several layers of fabric in one stack. Check that the edges are lined up and that you are not missing fabric in any of the layers. Cutting the pieces. Arrange the templates over the stack of fabric and check that the grain line is aligned with the grain of the fabric. Place the ruler over the template, aligning it with the edge of each one. Cut carefully the bases and the folded pieces W1 and W2 for 6 units A, 8 unit B. Remember that in the cutting techniques section you will find more instructions. Also, cut window number 1 4 times and number 2 1 time. Organize the pieces. Keep all the pieces in order and place the template on top of each stack to know which piece it is. Units. To make this block, we are going to work with 2 units, A and B. Choose one of the units to start. Look at the pieces you have and take the basis of this unit. Take also the W2 and W1 that correspond to this unit. Start pressing the folded pieces following the fold line indicated on the template. Fold at one end and press to the other, being careful not to distort the bias of the fabric. When you have the 2 pieces folded, place them over the base in the way indicated by the template. You set this unit aside and continue to work in the same way with all the remaining units. Always remember to keep the units in order and use the templates to identify them and place them over the stack of pieces. When you finish joining all the parts, prepare the sewing machine to sew the units. Take each unit carefully and place it under the presser foot. Align the border with a 1/4 of an inch mark or follow the sewing line on the template. Start sewing respecting this margin. all the way around the units. Join the 3 pieces neatly. Be careful where the folded pieces meet. As you sew the units, keep them in order so you don't get confused. Use the template as labels by placing them on the stack of units that you are finishing. Block. When you have all the units done, start joining them together. Place the unit guided by the scheme as if it were a puzzle. When you finish, organize the units into small groups as indicated in the scheme. Now we are going to sew Units A with 2 Units B. For this, we will use the Y-seam technique. You can consult the seam section for more information. Join Unit A with Unit B. Match the seams. Start sewing at a quarter of an inch from the edge back stitch and continue sewing until you reach the other point at a quarter of an inch too. Open the units and press the seam allowance down. Trim the seams. Join Unit B with Unit A and sew in the same way, leaving the center point open. Press and trim in the same way. Now, take the 2 B units and sew them together, leaving point B open. Press the seam open and trim. You have a mini block. Repeat this step for the remaining 3 mini blocks. Join one of the remaining A units with one of the mini blocks on the side of Unit B, matching the seams. Now, take the other mini block and join it to Unit A on Unit B's side of this block. Sew the same way. Join and sew the 2 A units of each mini block and you will complete half of the block. Guide yourself through these schemes to understand the sequence. Join the 2 remaining mini blocks on the side of Unit A. Sew, trim the seams and press. You now have 3 pieces to join. Unit A, the 2 mini blocks you joined, and half of the block. You are going to join and sew these 3 parts with the same technique starting from Unit A. Take the 2 sewn mini blocks and join them to Unit A. Sew, leaving the center point open. Take the other part of the block and join it to Unit A. Sew, leaving the center point open. Now join and sew the 2 remaining parts, taking care that you match all the seams. Trim the seams and press. You have finished the block. Now you can apply the windows. Application. Window templates. Cutting. Prepare the templates and cut the pieces of fabric. Remember that you don't have the seam allowance for the windows. The edges are wrapped in the frame when applying. Place the fabric inside the window frame and secure it with a pin. Fold the fabric of the frame over the edge of the window fabric. Straighten to form the window frame. You can sew it by machine or by hand. Now, take the applying the window section for a step-by-step instructions. Get ready for the project. To analyze the practice, you can use the table Practice with Muslin that you will find in the resources section. Take note of each aspect, whether or not you achieved your goal, the level of difficulty you experienced, and the time it took to do it. Analyze the process and see if you need more practice. Take note of the points where you have struggled and consider what changes you could make to overcome them. With all the information you have, you can now complete the time management table for your project. Check the resources section for more information. Read the tutorial instructions carefully and identify the different stages. Visualize each task based on your practice with muslin experience. Assign a schedule according to your daily routine and start little by little, gradually incorporating these new activities. Choose the duration of each task so that you can perform it and according to your experience in practice. If it takes you an hour to complete the block, for example, don't give the task a half an hour duration. Take into account the stages that you have found difficult in practice. Consider repeating the practice before starting the project. If not, keep this in mind and pay more attention when doing the task. Now, go to the project section and let's get started.